Kim Caldwell's first ever three-game losing streak in her career is finally snapped as the Lady Vols escape Columbia with a 76-71 win over the Missouri Tigers. Certainly a win they need when you consider UConn is knocking on the door next week. My three takeaways following that win for the Lady Vols. Of course, we first have to start with Talaysia Cooper, who absolutely put this game on her back. The game was very slow to start for the Lady Vols, missing their first 8 attempts. Of those 8 attempts, Cooper had 3 of those for misses, but once she got her first make, it was over for the rest of the game. Her first make actually was a three-pointer. Entering the game, she only averaged 1.2 three-pointers per game. She walked away with 5 triples on the night. And in that first quarter, after she made her first three-pointer, in about a minute span of gameplay, she had 8 points for the Lady Vols, and that absolutely turned the game around for Tennessee. Kim Caldwell, after the game, said if we didn't have Cooper in this game, the game might have looked a little bit different, and especially wanting her at the end of the game because she fouled out with about 90-ish seconds to go in the game. But her last play of the game was really what her whole entire game looked like. It was at the top of the press, and it's Nia Wilson. She's trying to cross, exposing the ball perfectly for Talaysia Cooper. She gets the steal, recovers a loose ball, and finishes with a layup to get her 6th steal on the night, her 27th point, which is her second best scoring night of the season. Her best is 33 points that she had like the third game of the season. I think it came against Liberty. But her ability to create offense for this team, which they were seriously lacking for much of it, really turned this game around. Her ability to create turnovers, turn the game around. But that's where it gets frustrating, and kind of to my second point about the inability to really cash in on turnovers for the Lady Vols ended up kind of keeping Missouri in the game late. There were a number of times where they had 5-point leads, a 10-point lead, but Missouri kept hanging in there because Tennessee could not capitalize on those turnovers. I'll look at the stats real quick. Okay, so they had 4 10-second backcourt violations. Those 4 came in the second quarter, all in about like 2.5 minutes of each other, but they weren't able to get a single field goal on any of those turnovers. It was actually 3 free throws that actually ended up giving Tennessee its first lead of the game, and it came from Jillian Hollingshed when she went 1 of 2 from the line. They also had 4 5-second violations and 2 shot clock violations. There, that shows that they're getting a lot better at the end of a shot clock, because I think Kim joked earlier that they lead the country probably in late shot clock points. Tennessee's inability to really capitalize on those turnovers really cost them in this game, and it's all about them being rushed on offense and kind of just throwing up shots without reason. And that kind of gets me to my third point too, where the offense was really inconsistent, and if it wasn't for turnovers, they didn't really have much offense. I mean, there were several 2+ minute scoring droughts, specifically in the fourth quarter, but in their third quarter, if they could just bottle that up, this team would be so good. They finished the third quarter 52.6% from the field. In the fourth quarter, they only had 11 attempts from the field alone, and it all has to do with like not really finding each other, bad passes leading into costly turnovers for the Lady Vols, and just their inability to really get going early in the game. Again, 0 of 8 to start. But then when you get to that third quarter, again, their best quarter where they were 52.6, they made 4 of their first 6 attempts, and a lot of them came on great plays. You know, you had Alyssa Latham driving baseline, battling through contact to get the layup. You had a couple of other times where Jewel Spear ended up coming up with a couple of clutch 3-pointers for the team, but if not for Talaysia Cooper in this game, like my first point, this game would have looked a lot different. A couple of other things that Kim Caldwell said during the game is that when they get into the aggressiveness and the top of their press, they affect the game the way they want to. That was a main point heading into the game, and it was her, main point after the game. When they're aggressive at the top of the press, they affect the game the way they want to. Again, they were able to have four back court violations, 10-second violations against the Missouri Tigers. And she just highlighted how much they needed this win. Again, UConn is just around the corner, and they've got to find somebody else other than Talaysia Cooper to be able to put this game on their back. See, Spearman was the only other one in double-digit scoring. A lot of that came from her going perfect from the free throw line, 6 of 6. So they just have got to find a way to get more action in the post. Finishing at the rim was another takeaway from Kim Caldwell, but hopefully this shows that they have some signs where if they have the press, they affect the game. And if they can capitalize on turnovers into offense, they're able to run away with games. But the second that they're not able to capitalize on those turnovers, the game gets a little bit too close for comfort. But the Vol basketball team, they speak on Tuesday. So I'll have more content coming up on the Vols and Lady Vols Monday and Tuesday at 2:30 p.m. So definitely make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out on any of it. But the Lady Vols are back in the win column with a massive game coming up on Thursday. I'll have post-game reports on that as well. So subscribe so you don't miss out. I'll talk to you then.